I don't even know what to say. I do, wait. I'm doing this video back to front. And I say I'm doing it back to front because I started this video before I started streaming, which was about 6 hours ago. And now, in 6 hours, how so much can change for no reason. So I'm starting with the end of the video, and then we're going to have the start of the video at the end. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. So I didn't expect Blizzard to do some changes. Well, I did, because they've been doing changes. But I didn't expect them to do changes to Season of Mastery from last night. You know, when I started recording, it was like 12 hours ago. So they announced some changes, you know, like Molten Core and Onyxia, you know, some changes to the mobs and stuff like that, to then announce a release date for Season of Mastery the next day. This now feels half-baked and rushed, and I don't know why. I've done nothing but praise Blizzard the last, I don't know, 2-3 weeks with the changes, listening to the community, introducing some hardcore support, doing all these things. You know, what they're doing, amazing job. And I was praising them up until about an hour ago on stream as well, saying it's just so refreshing, you know. For someone like me who's looking forward to Wrath of the Lich King Classic, the fact that they're making changes and they're open to doing some development, it gives me hope. It gives me hope for Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Not Season of Mastery. I mean, Season of Mastery was shaping up to be really good, but then they announce a release date that's so soon. I can only assume they're trying to rival Final Fantasy's expansion release, which, is it Endwalker? I don't even know what it's called. I don't care, because I don't care about Final Fantasy. But I know they've got something coming in sort of mid to end of November. So it's like Blizzard are now rushing this through, maybe, to rival that when it's not going to rival it. It's not big enough to worry about. If it was Wrath of the Lich King, I'd understand. If it was a new expansion, I'd understand. But this is a Season of Mastery. It's going to have a very niche sort of audience that want to play it anyway, to the point where there's no need to rush. Just get it right and have the audience that are looking forward to it really appreciate it and gain some consumer confidence again. I got the iPad. Let's have a look. So first off, we've got the tweet from official at Warcraft, which are basically saying name reservation details. So WoW Classic Season of Mastery name reservation will open on November the 11th. Players with an active subscription or game time on their World of Warcraft account will be able to create one character per WoW account. WoW Classic Season of Mastery releases worldwide on November 16th at 3 PM PST. When you reserve a name, you'll also choose the realm you will play that character on. There are a few additional things to keep in mind as you make your choice. After WoW Classic Season of Mastery is live, you'll be able to create additional characters up to a maximum of 50 characters in each of our 3 games. For the name reservation period only, we will have a limit on the number of characters that can be reserved on a realm. When the realms go live, the limit will be removed. I skipped forward one there, sorry. Characters that were created for WoW Classic Season of Mastery Open Beta will not be available to use in WoW Classic Season of Mastery. The only reason I skipped over that is because it's fairly obvious. Obviously, anything you do on a beta or an alpha or anything like that generally doesn't matter, doesn't count, no one cares, you know, it's for testing purposes only. So it looks like the realms are going to be similarly connected as Classic Era, where they've merged servers. That's how I read into it anyway. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments, but that's what it looks like. Obviously it's directing you to the forums where you can see who's playing where and what they're doing and how these servers play together. But to me, it looks like they're all open. So you can, you know, basically you could go on Mirage Raceway. I play on Mirage Raceway. You could go on Mirage Raceway, and that seasonal Mirage Raceway server will be tied to whatever servers the Classic Era servers are tied to, but they're separate. That's it. Bit strange, not how I was expecting it. And again, maybe I'm reading into it too much. Maybe that's not quite how it works. Maybe I need to wait and find out until there's some actual, like, hard facts, but them to me look like facts enough. You're probably sat there like, he seems a bit annoyed about this. Why is he, like, you know, like getting a bit of a negative vibe from me? You're right. You read me right. You are getting a negative vibe from me, because I don't understand how you can sort of publish new notes less than 24 hours ago about changes that are going on, and then immediately the day after announce a release date. a release date that's not particularly far away. It makes no sense to me. They was making really positive steps, doing really good things, making changes. I don't think Season of Mastery is ready. So when I now go on to talk about changes that occurred earlier on, although it makes sense and it's perfectly justifiable to actually speak about because they're not related to a launch date, they're not related to anything else, it's almost like, well, none of it matters. You know, they've put these changes in and it doesn't matter, because when you launch a 12-month seasonal server, you can't make too many changes during it. If it's a 2-year server, then of course you can. Over a 2-year server, you can deploy patches, you can deploy whatever, you know, hot fixes, etc., and it's not as detrimental. But on a server with such a small cycle as 12 months, it almost needs to be, I'm not going to say perfect, because nothing's perfect, nothing's perfect, but it needs to be close, you know, especially when it's a legacy server like this is. You know, everything that you want lined up should already be lined up, you know. So it's not like, let's say it's like TBC. So when you've got TBC, you know what's coming in phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, you're getting nothing in between those. You're not getting any class balancing, you're not getting any tuning. A seasonal server should be even more on point. Yeah, even more on point. So it's almost like there 100% is going to be no changes because everything is already set in stone. It's more about when a seasonal server's there, it's about mastering the content that's in front of you that you've already played before. But that's my rant out of the way. I think November 16th is too soon. Let's look at the other things, the other bits of news that we've seen over the last day. Now, I've not even had time to have a look at this yet, so we're going to be looking at it for the first time together. But after putting the finishing touches on the video I'd done today, which is up there, and I'll put a link up the top actually, because it's about Wrath of the Lich King and general channel update actually, so it might be worth you looking at. Wowhead have posted a couple of updates around Season of Mastery, so on the basis I haven't looked at it yet, I thought I've got the iPad, bit of glare, I've got the iPad. Let's have a look at it together. One of the updates in the latest build for Classic Season of Mastery Beta is the new debuff called Thief. Now, we already spoke about Thief in video before last, where we assumed it was to do with Blackrock Depths, but we didn't know how it worked. But it looks like there's a bit of information on how it works now. I'm actually going to go on and test this myself, but for now, we'll just take Wowhead's word for it. It's likely to curb pickpocketing rogue bots in Blackrock Depths. We've gone in and tested how the debuff works, breaking it down in this article. So we can see from the picture here, given the recent string of thievery, enemies around you have stashed most of their belongings elsewhere, which is a 30-minute buff. Now, 30 minutes is quite long, obviously, because it depends how many, which I'm sure we're about to find out, how many roughly you can actually pickpocket before this buff goes on. And with 30 minutes, if you could go out and reset, we'll look into it more. So while Thief is applied, a rogue can only acquire Pocket Lint from pickpocketing, which sells for a whopping 1 copper each by the looks of it. Wow, you rogue bots are going to be raking it in. So Dying removed the Thief debuff, incurring a short 3-minute run back to Blackrock Depths. So that's quite interesting straight away before we even get any further in. The fact that Dying can get rid of the debuff so you can then carry on. But yeah, with BRD to run all the way back after pickpocketing X amount of mobs, probably not going to be very lucrative, but again, I'm sure we'll find out. So after 11 pickpocket casts, the debuff was applied. In a second attempt, it was applied after 9 casts, and in the third attempt, it was applied after 10 casts. When the Thief debuff was applied, only Pocket Lint was obtainable from pickpocketing, which vendors for a single copper piece. Averaging it all out, rogues can expect to make 20 silver in 5 minutes of pickpocketing and ghost running. Yeah, that doesn't sound very lucrative to me. I'm sure there's better ways to spend your time, rogues. So we obviously would have already looked at this, but it has confirmed it. I think that needs changing, if I'm honest. I think that's really sort of hovering on the tight side of things, because we know we want to counter bots, don't get me wrong, but like I've said, I just don't know how I feel about, actual legitimate, like I said in the other video. I'll put a link up the top there, so just have a quick look at that, because I do speak at length, so I don't want to just do the same video twice, basically. But I do think Blizzard need to be careful when they're doing this. I can get back to sorting my Wrath videos out now, so peace out. Oh, like and subscribe, please. Really would help. The amount of people that watch these videos and they're not subscribed, it's free to subscribe, by the way, so probably just push the button. But thanks, guys. Much love.